8:30 in the morning, it's before Judge Martin. The final trial management conference is October 10. That's at 8:30 in the morning before Judge Martin. Your trial assignment date will be on October 17 at 9 o'clock in the morning. That will be before the master calendar judge. You will need to be present for your scheduled court hearings. If you fail to appear for court without good cause, a warrant would issue for your arrest. Any bond that you posted could be forfeited. Let's see. I think we need to establish release conditions. Does the state wish to be heard regarding release conditions in this case?
Judge, we've had good contact with defense counsel, and also both defendants have appeared under subpoenas already, so we're just asking for OR.
All right, thank you. On behalf of Ms. Ward. Counsel.
I apologize, Your Honor. I did not hear that.
Oh, on behalf of Ms. Ward, I'm sorry. Do you have
nothing further, Your Honor. Obviously,
all
we
right.
agree with OR release.
Sure.
What?
I'll order as a condition of your release that you submit to the 10-print fingerprint, ma'am, and that you continue to reside at your local address. All right, give me just a moment. I'll finish this order. Was there anything else on behalf of Ms. Ward?
No, Your Honor.
So let's go to the next case, which is Mr. Ward's case. That was what was the number again, counsel? 18. Calling 18 on the calendar. This is also the time set for the not guilty arraignment. Sir, could you state your name?
Michael Ward.
Right. This is the time set for your not guilty arraignment as well. Mr. Ward, you are before the court on counts 1 through 9. As to each allegation, you have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to be represented by counsel. We'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf as to each allegation, and we'll set your next court hearings as follows. The next court date will be the initial pretrial conference, and that will be on July 2nd at 8:15 in the morning before Commissioner Henderson. The comprehensive pretrial conference will be August 1. It's at 8:30 in the morning. It's before Judge Martin. The final trial management conference is October 10 at 8:30 in the morning. It's also before Judge Martin. Your trial assignment date will be October 10, and that's, October 17, and that's before the master calendar judge. Those days. You need to be present for your scheduled court hearings. If you fail to appear for court without good cause, a warrant would issue for your arrest. If you had posted a bond, it could be forfeited. I'll affirm the release order in this case as well. Was there anything else from the state before we recess this case?
Nothing else from the state, Your Honor.
All right, thank you then. You're all set. You can, each of you can step right to the bailiff. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know I'm getting it. Number. Oh, it is. Oh, there we go. Helps a lot. I won't be able to type now. Oh, right. Oh, well. Okay. Okay. Okay, thanks. Folks, I apologize. I'm just having, this is not my courtroom, so I'm not familiar. So I think it is, anything available, let's see. OR. And then, let's just, no, not supervisor, rules, nothing else, just those two. So get rid of supervisor rules. Sorry, it's late. Everything's so hard.
He's so old.
Right.
And then old ones is a lot, but he's.
Right, I know. Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Can't do this online.
You want me to try? I'm not sure. I can try to clear your cache.
Folks, we're going to stand in recess for just a few minutes. You can remain seated. We'll be back in a moment, okay?
Judge, we'd like to waive the reading of obviously the charges and also her rights. I will go through it with her. We enter not guilty at this time.
It is ordered, ma'am, entering a not guilty plea on your behalf. We will set your next court hearings as follows. The next court date in this case will be the initial pretrial conference, and that will be on July 22nd. July 2nd at 8:30 in the morning. It's before Commissioner Henderson. The comprehensive pretrial conference will be on August 24th, and that's at 8:30 in the morning. It's before Judge Martin. The final trial management conference is that would be October 4th. The final trial management conference is October 10th. That's at 8:30 in the morning. It's also before Judge Martin. Your trial assignment date will be on October 17 at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's before the master calendar judge. You will need to be present for your scheduled hearings. If you fail to appear for a scheduled court hearing without good cause, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Any bond that you posted could be forfeited. With respect to release conditions, does the state wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, Judge. And briefly, as with most of the other defendants, the state has had good communication with defense counsel, and the defendant has previously appeared under a subpoena. So I would ask for OR release.
All right, thank you. Defense?
Thank you, Judge. We believe that's appropriate.
All right, thank you. All right, then I will release the defendant on her own recognizance pending the next court date. You do need to be present for all of your scheduled court hearings. If you fail to appear for court, as I said, a warrant could issue for your arrest. I'll affirm, or I'll endorse I'll endorse the release conditions that I just set. All right, then. If there's nothing
Thank
else,
you, Rob.
we'll be in recess as to this matter.
Thank you.
Did you make my font a little bigger? The type, I guess it is. Not much. Calling 15 on the calendar. Number 15 is CR 2024-006-850-008, State of Arizona versus Samuel Morehead, time set for the not guilty arraignment. Counsel, could you announce?
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Jeff Clown on behalf of Samuel Morehead, is present, out of custody, and standing to my left.
Thank you. Mr. Morehead, could you state your name, please,
Samuel Morehead,
and your date of birth?
November 14th, 1943.
This is the time set for the not guilty arraignment in your case. Mr. Morehead, you are before the court on counts 1 through 9. As to each of these allegations, you have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to be represented by counsel. It is ordered entering a not guilty plea on your behalf to the allegations and setting your next court hearings as follows. The next court date, in this case, will be the initial pretrial conference. That will be on July 2nd. It's at 8:15 in the morning before Commissioner Henderson. Comprehensive pretrial conference will be on August 1. That's at 8:30 in the morning. It's before Judge Martin. The final trial management conference will be on October 10, also before Judge Martin, and your trial assignment date will be on October 17, and that will be at 9 o'clock in the morning before the master calendar judge. You do need to be present for your scheduled court hearings. If you fail to appear for court without good cause, a warrant would issue for your arrest. Any bond that you posted could be forfeited. With respect to release conditions in this case, does the state wish to be heard?
Yes, Judge, and at the risk of being repetitive, for the same reasons you've heard previously for other co-defendants, we just asked for OR release.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, just briefly, with the OR release, my client has a prearranged cruise out of the country. I spoke to Mr. Klayman on Friday. He has no objection as long as my client files a notice before he leaves the country and then when he returns.
All right, then. So ordered. So, sir, the court will give you permission to travel out of state for the purpose of a prearranged vacation. That's fine. Just notify your attorney of the dates and times so that he can provide that information to the Attorney General's office, okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure. Just finish up the release order. You can just step to the bailiff and he'll be all set.
Sapon.
Calling 17 on today's calendar. Good morning.
Good morning.
Number 17 is CR 2024-006-850-010. It is State of Arizona versus Gregory Sapon. It's the time set for the not guilty arraignment. Could you state your name
Greg Sapon,
and your date of birth?
December 4th, 1987.
Let's see.
I've asked for court-appointed counsel.
Do you have the funds, sir, that you could use to hire a lawyer to represent you in this case?
No, ma'am.
All right, then. Court finds that the defendant is indigent and qualifies for the appointment of counsel. It is ordered appointing counsel to represent him in this case.
We would request the public defender's office.
It's ordered appointing the Office of the Public Defender to represent the defendant. Did the state wish to be heard on?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Sapon had previously appeared under a subpoena, as well as he was previously represented by counsel. He had good communication. For those reasons, we're just asking for OR release.
Okay. Thank you. So, sir, I've appointed counsel to represent you. Let's see, the Public Defender's Office. You are before the court this morning on counts 1 through 9. As to each of these allegations, you do have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to be represented by counsel, and I've just appointed a lawyer for you. We'll enter a not guilty plea as to each allegation, 1 through 9, and we'll set your next court hearings as follows. The next court date will be the initial pretrial conference, and that will be on July 2nd. It's at 8:15 in the morning before Commissioner Henderson. The comprehensive pretrial conference will be on August 1st. That's at 8:30 in the morning before Judge Martin. The final trial management conference is October 10. That's at 8:30 in the morning. It's also before Judge Martin. Your trial assignment date will be on October 17 at 9 o'clock in the morning before the master calendar judge. You will need to be present for your scheduled court hearings. If you fail to appear for court without good cause, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Any bond that you may have posted could be forfeited. I'll go ahead and complete the release conditions. Did you have any questions about your dates?
No, Judge.
All right, then you're all set. You can step to the bailiff and I'll finish the order.
These are requested.
For 006 850 dash 005 State of Arizona versus Anthony Kern. It's the time set for the not guilty arraignment for the state.
Your Honor, Nicholas Klingerman on behalf of the state, along with Krista Wood.
Thank you. And counsel?
Good morning, Judge. Andrew Marcantel for Senator Kern, who is present out of custody to my left. We would enter a plea of not guilty and waive a formal reading.
Thank you. Sir, could you state your name, please?
Senator Anthony Kern,
And your date of birth?
8561.
All right, then. This is the time set for the not guilty arraignment in your case, sir. You are before the court on counts 1 through 9. As to each of these allegations, you have the right to remain silent, and you also have the right to be represented by counsel. You're appearing with your lawyer. We will enter a not guilty plea on your behalf as to each allegation and set the next court hearings as follows. Your next court date will be the initial pretrial conference, and that will be on July 2nd at 8:15. It's before Commissioner Henderson. Your comprehensive pretrial conference is August 1. It's at 8:30 before Judge Martin. Your final trial management conference will be October 10, and that's at 8:30 in the morning. It's also before Judge Martin. Your trial assignment date will be October 17 at 9 o'clock in the morning before the master calendar judge. You will need to be present for your scheduled hearings. If you fail to appear for court without good cause, a warrant could issue for your arrest, and any bond that you may have posted could be forfeited. I'll complete the release order. Was there anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Judge.
And,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're
Thank you.
welcome. You can step to the bailiff, and I'll complete the release order for you in just a moment.
Judge, I think we need to establish release conditions.
I know. Do you wish to be heard regarding your release conditions? I was inclined to release the defendant OR. Does the state have an objection
No
to that?
objection, Judge.
Okay.
We're in agreement, Judge.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay.
21, Bob.
Calling number 21 on today's calendar. Number 21 is CR 2024-006850, State versus Christina Bob, time set for the not guilty arraignment. Counsel, could you announce?
Good morning, Your Honor. Thomas Jacobs on behalf of Ms. Bob will be requesting a waiving of reading and enter a plea of not guilty.
Thank you. Ms. Bob, could you state your name
Christina Bob,
and your date of birth?
November 4th, 82.
All right, let me pull up your case. Give me just 1 moment. As you know, this is the time set for the not guilty arraignment. Ms. Bob, you are before the court on counts 1 through 9 as to each allegation. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to be represented by counsel, and you're appearing with your lawyer this morning. Court will enter a not guilty plea on your behalf as to each allegation, and will set your next court hearings as follows. The next court date will be the initial pretrial conference. That conference will be on July 2nd at 8:15 in the morning before Commissioner Henderson. The comprehensive pretrial conference will be on August 1. That's at 8:30 in the morning before Judge Martin. The final trial management conference is October 10. That's at 8:30. It's also before Judge Martin. Your trial assignment date will be on October 17 at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's before the master calendar judge. You will need to be present for all of your scheduled hearings. If you fail to appear for court without good cause, a warrant could issue for your arrest. With respect to the release conditions, I'll start with the state. Do you wish to be heard on release conditions?
Judge, it's for the same reasons you've heard of our release.
All right, thank you. Defense?
Yes, Your Honor. We have no objection to OR release. Ms. Bob is an out-of-state resident. We ask that she be relieved of any out-of-state travel restrictions.
All right, then. It is ordered that the defendant, well, does the state object to that?
No, Your Honor.
I will order that the defendant may continue to reside out of state. You are, however, required to attend your scheduled hearings. So if you fail to appear for court, as I said, a warrant could issue for your arrest, and I'll go ahead and complete these release conditions. If there's nothing else, you can step right to the bailiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Number 9, Valier. Defendant and counsel appears virtually.
Thank you. Number 9.
Yeah.
Calling number 9 on today's calendar. Number 9 is CR 2024-006850-002, State of Arizona versus Tyler Bowyer. It's the time set for the not guilty arraignment. The defendant is the 002 defendant for the state.
Good morning, Your Honor. Nick Klingerman for the state, along with Crystal Wood.
All right, thank you. Let's see, counsel. Or, Mr. Bauer, are you represented by counsel?
Yes, ma'am. And Andrew Pacheco, who's on the call right now with us.
All right, then. Counsel, would you announce for the record? You might be having some technical difficulties. Sir, could you state your name?
Yeah, Tyler Boer. We're looking for Andrew Pacheco. I think he's trying to talk here, but...
Uh-oh. We may have... I think I'll pass the case for now, and when you're ready, Mr. Pacheco, we just can't hear your audio, okay? We'll come back to you. Can we just pass on this case and go to the next one?
Number 16, Pellegrino.
Okay.
Counsel is on TS.
Okay. Thank you. On number 16, before I call the case, are both parties appearing on the Teams platform? The defendant and the attorney?
Mr. Colsford. Is that counsel?
What's the counsel's name?
Colsford.
The microphone, where's... They can't hear me. Sir, on the Teams platform, are you able to hear me? Mr. Is it what was the last name?
Pellegrino.
Pellegrino?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Oh, very good. All right, then. Are you ready to go forward, sir?
I am, Your Honor, and Ms. Pellegrino is here telephonically.
All right, thank you. Calling number 16 on the calendar. This is CR 2024-006-850-009, State of Arizona versus Lorraine Pellegrino. It is the time set for the not guilty arraignment. Could you announce, counsel?
Good morning, Your Honor. Josh Colesford on behalf of Mrs. Pellegrino, who's present and with us telephonically.
Thank you. And ma'am, could you also state your name, please?
I think she needs to press #6 so she can be unmuted.
Right. Ma'am, are you able to do that? Hit #6.
Lorraine Pellegrino.
Thank you. And your date of birth?
10/10/57.
All right, then. This is the time set for the not guilty arraignment. Counsel, how would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, we are entering a plea of not guilty. We waive a reading of the indictment. I would like to note that my client's first name is misspelled in the indictment. There should only be one R, so it should be spelled LORAINE. And we also ask that my client be released OR. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Then we'll amend the defendant's name as stated on the record. We'll enter a not guilty plea on her behalf. We'll set the next court hearings as follows. The next court, or I should say, Ms. Pellegrino, you are before the court on counts 1 through 9. As to each of these allegations, you have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to be represented by counsel, and you're appearing with your lawyer this morning. We'll enter a not guilty plea as to each count and set your next court hearing for an initial pretrial conference. That conference will be on July 2nd at 8:15. It's before Commissioner Henderson. The comprehensive pretrial conference will be August 1. That's at 8:30 in the morning. It's before Judge Martin. Your final trial management conference is October 10 at 8:30 in the morning. It's also before Judge Martin. Your trial assignment date will be on October 17 at 9 o'clock. That's before the master calendar judge. You will need to be present for those hearings. If you fail to appear for court without good cause, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Any bond that you posted could be forfeited. Let's see. From the state, do you wish to be heard regarding release conditions?
No objection to OR, Your Honor.
All right, then. Counsel for the defendant, do you wish to be heard regarding release conditions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then. Let's see. Wait just a moment, and I'll finish the release order. Pending your next court hearing, I'll release you on your own recognizance at your own promise to appear for all scheduled court hearings. I'll also endorse some of the other release conditions on the release order. Does your client live locally, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then I've signed the release order. You should be all set. Was there anything else from the state?
No.
Anything else from the defense?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. We'll be in recess as to this case.
Your Honor, this is Andrew Pacheco. Is my audio not working?
It is.
Thank you.
Are you ready to go back to the what number?
Yes, ma'am.
What number was Mr. Pacheco? 9? All right. Let's recall 9. Number 9 is CR 2024-006-850-002, State of Arizona versus Tyler Bowser. It's the time set for the not guilty arraignment. Counsel could, for the state, pardon me.
Good morning, Your Honor. Nicholas Clearman on behalf of the state, along with Crystal Wood.
All right, thank you. Counsel, could you announce for the record as well?
Good morning again, Your Honor. Andrew Pacheco with Mr. Boer, who's present virtually. He understands his constitutional rights. He waives reading of the indictment and asks that the court enter a plea of not guilty on his behalf.
All right, thank you. Sir, could you state your name, please?
Tyler Boer,
And your date of birth?
October 22nd, 1985.
Right. This is the time set for the not guilty arraignment in your case. Sir, you're before the court on counts 1 through 9. As to each allegation, you have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to be represented by an attorney. Counsel's appearing with you today. We'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf to each allegation, and we'll set the next court hearing for an initial pretrial conference. That conference will be on July 2nd. It's at 8:15 in the morning before Commissioner Henderson. The comprehensive pretrial conference will be August 1. It's at 8:30 in the morning before Judge Martin. Your final trial management conference is October 10 at 8:30. That's also before Judge Martin. Your trial assignment date will be on October 17, and that's at 9 o'clock in the morning before the master calendar judge. You will need to be present for your scheduled court hearings. If you fail to appear for court without good cause, a warrant could issue for your arrest. If you posted a bond, it could be forfeited. Let's go to the release conditions. Does the state object to OR release?
I do not object, Your Honor. I just had one request, and later this month, Mr. Boer has international travel. We were not objecting to that, but we had previously discussed with counsel that he would provide notice upon travel and return.
Okay. Is that correct, counsel?
Your Honor, that is correct. And additionally, we also discussed with the state Mr. Boyer's regular travel commitments domestically with his employer, and would ask that the court allow such travel.
All right. So are you saying for his employment he needs to travel out of state?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. And the state is not opposed to that?
No objection.
All right. Very good. And the court will enter an order that he may travel both internationally for a prepaid vacation, and also he may travel outside the state of Arizona for the purpose of his employment.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Of course. Oops. All right. I completed the release order. You should be all set. It does include the term, or I should say it does not include the term that you cannot leave the state, so you certainly can for the reasons stated on the record. If there's nothing else, counsel will be in recess as to this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay. On the Teams platform is Mr. Robert Montgomery appearing this morning?
Yes. I'm sorry, say again?
I was asking, are you Mr. Montgomery?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, are you ready to go forward with the not guilty arraignment in this case?
I believe I am.
Okay. Give me just a moment. Is that the case you want to call?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
14.
14. 14 is CR 2024-006 850-007, State of Arizona versus Robert Montgomery. It's a time set for the not guilty arraignment. Sir, could you state your name, please?
I am Robert Montgomery.
And your date of birth.
It is 6/10/51.
Thank you. This is the time set for the not guilty arraignment as well as the initial appearance. Sir, do you have counsel that's representing you in this case?
Not yet. I'm working on that.
Okay. Do you believe that you will be engaging counsel, or would you prefer that the court appoint an attorney to represent you?
I'm asking that the court would appoint counsel.
All right.
I may have counsel afterwards.
Of course. If that's the case, then appointed counsel can certainly withdraw.
Thank you.
Court finds that the defendant qualifies for the appointment of counsel, and I'll appoint the office of, is it the legal defender?
Yes, Your Honor, if he is indigent.
All right. The court will appoint the office of the legal defender to represent him at this time, subject to perhaps a change in counsel going forward. All right, then, Mr. Montgomery, this is the time set for the not guilty arraignment. You are before the court, in this case on counts 1 through 9. As to each allegation, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to be represented by counsel, and the court's appointed counsel to assist you. We'll enter a not guilty plea as to each count and set your next court hearing for an initial pretrial conference. That conference will be on July 2nd at 8:15. It's before Commissioner Henderson. Your comprehensive pretrial conference will be on August 1. That's at 8:30 in the morning before Judge Martin. The final trial management conference is October 10. That's at 8:30 in the morning. It's also before Judge Martin. Your trial assignment date will be on October 17 at 9 o'clock in the morning, and that will be before the master calendar judge. You will need to be present for the scheduled hearings. If you fail to appear for court without good cause, a warrant could issue for your arrest. If you had posted a bond, it could be forfeited. I'll complete the release order. On behalf of the state, was there anything else as to this case?
Nothing else from the state, Your
All right. Did you wish to be heard regarding release conditions?
Honor. Your Honor, we have no objection to OR release.
All right, thank you.
I would ask if I could appear remotely in the future. I live on the very southern edge of Cochise County against the Mexican border.
Certainly, if you could file a written notice with, well, for the next court hearing, you may appear remotely, but following that, you'll have to submit a request to the assigned judge, I think it's Judge Martin, to appear remotely, okay? All right.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll just finish this order and then you'll be all set, sir. Give me just another moment.
Can I request that the court waive his signature on the release form?
All right. The court will waive the defendant's signature on the release form as requested. Let's see. All right. There we go. All right. Thank you, sir. That concludes the hearing unless you have additional questions.
Yes, ma'am. Asked to confirm that I am released on my own recognizance, and yes, thank you.
Let me read that to you then. Just a moment.
Okay.
Yes, of course. Court finds that you are available as a matter of right, and it is ordered releasing you on your own recognizance pending the next court hearing. Let's see. I've also endorsed that you are not to have contact with any of the alleged co-defendants, and that you not leave the state without permission of the court, that you submit to the 10-print fingerprint, and that you continue to reside at your current address or notify the court of a change of address.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I have submitted the fingerprints and photographs already.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Then you certainly don't have to do it again. I'll affirm. Let me go ahead and save and complete that release order. Why is that not taking?
So we can leave.
Give me just one moment, and then you'll be all set. Okay. Hey, excuse me. Every time I hit print, this edits.
Hello, this is Rudy Giuliani.
Sir, I'll be with you in just a moment. This is Commissioner Smith. Good morning.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner Smith. I'm sorry I'm late. I got the time wrong.
You're fine. We're running late anyway.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Number 66, Giuliani.
like to stay.
No, your case, I think I completed the case. You're welcome to disconnect at this time.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm sorry that that wasn't clear. Can you go
No
ahead?
problem. Appreciate it.
Great. Number 66 on today's calendar. 66 is CR 2024.
Is that me?
Yes, it's you, Mr. Giuliani. I'm just calling the case, CR 2024 006. Let's see, 680. It's time set for the not guilty arraignment. Would you please state your name
Rudolph Giuliani,
and your date of birth?
May 28, 1944.
Okay, I'll be right with you.
Thank you, ma'am.
This is the time set for the not guilty arraignment in your case. Let me pull up your case and I'll...
Thank you very much.
Sure. Can you... Oh, God, I lost it. Andrew. Sir, this is the time set for the not guilty arraignment in your case. For the state, would you like to announce?
Good morning, Your Honor. Nicholas Klingerman, along with Krista Wood, on behalf of the state.
Thank you. And Mr. Giuliani, would you state your full name for the record
Rudolph W. Giuliani,
and your date of birth?
May 28, 1944.
All right, then. This is the time set for the not guilty arraignment. You are before the court, sir, on counts 1 through 9. As to each of these allegations, you do have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to be represented by counsel. Do you have an attorney that is representing you in this case?
I don't at this point, no.
Do you
But I will. But I will shortly.
Okay. Are you asking the court to appoint counsel now until you are able to retain counsel, or are you asking...
No.
No?
I think I'm capable of handling it myself, except for the fact that I don't have a copy of the indictment. I just have the summons.
All right, then I'll ask the state to provide the defendant with a copy of the charging document.
Your Honor, I would need a contact for Mr. Giuliani to provide
Sure,
that.
I'll give you my email if you want.
Well, we're in an open courtroom, sir. If you're comfortable with that, you can go right ahead.
Oh, no, I'm not.
All right, then.
I'm not comfortable with that.
Let's see.
I had given it to your assistant, Andrew.
Okay.
Andrew, I called Andrew first in order to contact you, and Andrew gave me the information, and he needed my email, and I gave it to him.
All right, then we'll pass that email on to the Attorney General's office, and then the Attorney General can send that to you by email, okay?
I appreciate that. I do have a general familiarity with the charges from reading in the newspapers. I haven't seen these type.
Oh, he needs to file. Okay. He's remote. All right, Mr. Giuliani, as I said, you're here before on counts 1 through 9. We'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf to each allegation. We'll set your next court hearing for an initial pretrial conference. That conference will be on July 2nd at 8:15 in the morning. It's before Commissioner Henderson. The comprehensive pretrial conference will be on August 1. It's at 8:30 in the morning. It's before Judge Martin. The final trial management conference is October 10 at 8:30 in the morning. It's also before Judge Martin. And your trial assignment date will be on October 17 at 9 o'clock in the morning, and that's before Judge Martin. Judge Martin is the assigned judge in this case. You do need to be present for your scheduled court hearings. If you fail to appear for court without good cause, a warrant could issue for your arrest, and any bond that you posted could be forfeited. With respect to your counsel, sir, If you have not retained counsel by the next court date, the court will appoint counsel to represent you.
Would you mind giving me the dates again? It was kind of fast and I couldn't get them all.
Sure, of course, I'll go slower. Your next court date is the initial pretrial conference, and that is on July 2nd, 7/2 at 8:15.
Now, is that a personal appearance or is that,
You may appear virtually for the next court date. However, at your third court date before Judge Martin, you will need to get the court's approval if you intend to appear virtually.
So July 2nd is virtual.
Well,
and you had August,
not necessarily, but you can appear virtually, is what I'm saying.
I see. Okay.
All right, then.
And August 1st?
The next, the next date was, yes, August 1st. That's at 8:30, and that's before Judge Martin. So you'll need to ask Judge Martin in advance if he will allow a virtual appearance for that court hearing.
You need permission for that. Okay. Okay.
The final trial
And
management.
that's at 8:30, correct? That was 8:30?
It is 8:30. That's correct.
Okay.
The final trial management conference will be on October 10. Again, that's at 8:30. It's at 8:30 in the morning before Judge Martin. And then the final trial management, sir, will be on October 17 at 9 o'clock in the morning before the master calendar judge.
Not before the...
It's before the master calendar judge, right. Not necessarily before Judge Martin.
Oh. Is Judge Martin the judge who will be trying the case?
Possibly. Possibly.
Oh. Okay. That's not determined yet.
Not at this point. It's not. Yeah, it's too early in the case.
Thank you.
All right then. And so you do need to be present either virtually or in person for your scheduled hearings. If you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Does the state wish to be heard regarding release conditions?
Yes, Judge. And I don't know, I had 2 exhibits. I was hoping maybe I could use the Elmo, or if that's okay with the court's permission.
Okay.
And if you give me some time, I wanted to make a record on why I'm requesting a $10,000 cash bond and that Mr. Giuliani appear in Arizona within the next 30 days for booking procedures.
Okay. Go right ahead. With whatever you would like the court to consider.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Judge. If I could approach them.
You may.
Yeah. And if you bear with me, Your Honor, I think I just wanted to make a record because service of summons for this arraignment has been quite the process. And so I'm going to start with the indictment became public on April 24th of 2024. By Friday, I had 2 special agents in New York in an attempt to serve Mr. Giuliani. We had about 3 or 4 different phone numbers for him. My agents called 4 different numbers, left 4 messages, and had not received the call back. On 2 of those, as they kept trying to call him, they left their identity, the reason why they were calling, and never received a return call. On Friday the 26th, my agents spent about 4 to 5 hours outside his Manhattan condo, and we were able to determine that Mr. Giuliani was present in that condo because just the day before he was on his podcast, and we could compare photographs from Zillow showing the inside of that condo, and they matched up with the inside of his podcast. So he knew we were there. I had 2 agents attempt to enter the building. The doorman stopped them upon arrival and told them 2 days earlier that a note came down that no one was allowed up to Mr. Giuliani's office to provide service. He seemed very aware that the agents were trying to serve a summons on Mr. Giuliani, and basically told them that no one was going to see him. And so he was not allowed to take service of summons, nor did he allow the agents up. The agents asked if he had a phone number for Mr. Giuliani. The doorman said that he did not believe it would work because frequently the numbers that he provides are inactive. he attempted to call it anyways, and the number was unanswered. So that was our attempts to serve him in person. Never saw him outside of New York, attempted to enter the building. Mr. Giuliani has since then made numerous statements aware of the indictment and has failed to reach out or be cooperative in this process. So one day after the indictment came public, Mr. Giuliani on his podcast, and I'll quote, "Excuse me, I'm trying to see if my wrist got any bigger from the handcuffs from Arizona and Michigan. My guess as to what political party the district attorney in Arizona is who reported to have indicted me, quote unquote, evil people," and he was aware that 18 people were charged. Later that day, he appeared on Newsmax, talking about one of the co-defendants, blamed that co-defendant and said, and that was Christina Bobb, "I used Christina Bobb to a large extent for Arizona." On May 14th, Mr. Giuliani was quoted on this podcast, and I'll just take some quotes. The people in Arizona who now say, and then, "I'm too difficult to find, it's hilarious. I'm going to use this article in my defense. They put the article on the air. This is perfect evidence that if they're so incompetent they can't find me, they also can't count votes correctly. This is the same Arizona people who counted the vote, who are indicting me, who are framing me, and they can't find me." On May 2nd, we sent certified mail to Mr. Giuliani's Manhattan address. It has that was with the summons. It has still not been returned. And then I had two exhibits from Twitter posts that Mr. Giuliani made in reference to our attempts to serve him a summons, and with the court's permission, if I could use the Elmo to display them.
Yes.
So this is the first. This is from last Friday night, and if this is, yeah, we can see them out here. So this is a Twitter post that he had posted this on Twitter last Friday night. As you can see, it's a picture from his 80th birthday party in Palm Beach, Florida. "If Arizona authorities can't find me by tomorrow morning, 1, they must dismiss the indictment. 2, they must concede they can't count votes." We actually had 2 agents in Florida at the time who were sitting outside the party waiting to see if he would leave to serve him a summons. About an hour after that post, the agents saw him leaving and then served him a summons to appear today. Later then on Sunday, Mr. Giuliani posted this. "I had just found out they were looking for me 24 hours before a surprise party that was given to me." The party was not a surprise, by the way. It was reported in newspapers before. 200 Democrats and Republicans. I told them where I'd be, and I accepted service like a gentleman. That is not a true statement. Mr. Giuliani he did not tell us where he was going to be. He has never, although we served him, it's, I guess, semantics on whether he accepted service like a gentleman or not. But he has shown no intent to comply with legal process in Arizona for this case. Yesterday, I received a phone call from a New York attorney who is not licensed in Arizona and was not representing Mr. Giuliani to inquire about appearing virtually. I told him I would object to a virtual appearance, given the problems that we've had serving Mr. Giuliani a summons and his behavior in this case. So at this point, rather than go back through this process of trying to serve him again if he does not appear, I would just ask that the court order he appear in Arizona within 30 days for booking procedures and to post a $10,000 cash bond.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Giuliani, would you like to respond before the court issues a ruling?
First of all, it was publicly known where I was going to be when they came to serve me. I didn't know about it, but it was publicly known by all the people who came there. So by the time I got there, I knew that they would now know exactly where I was. I've been on the radio, on television and the radio every day since this indictment started, announcing where I am. So I haven't been hiding from anyone. The reason for the difficulty to get up to my apartment in New York is it's a 10-story apartment building. I have a fair number of threats, including death threats. And I don't have security any longer since I've been in bankruptcy. So I have very, very strict rules about who gets up and who doesn't. And as you might imagine, some people do pretend to be all kinds of things in order to get up and harass you. Some of which has happened to me over the years. I still have death threats that go back to the time I was in not just public service, but 4 years ago there was an attempt to kill me by the Iranian government. Very well documented, and tried in France. Then another one tried in the Netherlands. There are threats here.
Mr. Giuliani, I'm going to go ahead and issue or modify the release conditions. I believe that I previously said. Counsel, could you repeat that you were asking the defendant to sell or appear in Arizona within
30 days, Judge.
All right. And what else? What other requests were you making?
I was requesting a $10,000 cash bond. I think Mr. Giuliani mentioned large financial judgments against him, and I do not think the court should be a secondary secured creditor.
No, I think a
so you're asking for a cash bond?
Yes. It would be totally punitive. I've been indicted in Georgia. I've appeared on every occasion. I've been sued about 20 to 25 times by a very, very similar movement to this one, which is the let's see what we can do to destroy Donald Trump movement.
Okay, give me just a moment. Okay, sir,
I do consider this indictment a complete embarrassment to the American legal system, but I've shown no tendency not to comply. I show up for every court appearance, and there must have been about 20 to 30 of them. There is no history of my being a flight risk, which is the basis for bail.
Thank you, sir.
I think it'd be outrageous if you set a bond in this completely political case that comes very, very late.
All right, sir.
Sir, 3 years ago.
Giuliani, I don't want to mute you, but I need to move on. Give me just a moment. I understand what your position is regarding release conditions. You want him to appear in Arizona within 30 days to do...
to self-report for booking procedures and post a bond, Your Honor.
All right, then. I'll adopt the release conditions as requested by the state. However, with respect to the bond, I'll set a secured appearance bond rather than a cash bond with respect to the release conditions. In addition, sir, I will endorse some of the standard release conditions that will be on the release order that you'll receive. Did I do the dates?
Thank you.
I gave you the dates, sir. The release conditions, I believe.
You did. I have the date.
All right, then. Anything else from the state?
Nothing else, Your Honor.
Thank you. We'll be in recess as to this matter. Thank you, sir.
May I ask one question, Your Honor? How do I arrange the... I have to appear within 30 days, and I will. But how do I arrange that?
Do you want him to self-submit to the Sheriff's Department or to the...
To the Sheriff's Department, Judge.
You need to appear in the Sheriff's Department for that booking, okay?
Oh, I just have to
Maricopa
show
County
up.
Sheriff's Department. I beg your pardon?
Okay.
You have to
I got
post.
it. Okay.
Well, you have to post a secured appearance bond as well.
And that entails, what does that entail?
That was the $10,000 secured appearance bond.
You set a bond of $10,000?
We did. Secured appearance bond. All right. All right. We'll be in recess as to this matter. Off the record on this case.